Welcome to our channel. Today we are going to study another part of biology known as food chain and everything concerning food chain. We're going to study this topic with questions and answers for a better understanding. The first question we have here says, a feeding relationship that involves the transfer of energy through food from one organism to another is called dash. A. Photosynthesis. B. Food chain. C. Decomposers. D. Consumers. In this question, the correct answer is B. Food chain. This food chain is a feeding relationship that involves the transfer of energy through food from one living thing to another. The next question says, in the food chain above, the primary consumer is dash. A. Snake. B. Grass. C. Toad. D. Grasshopper. In this question, the correct answer is D. Grasshopper. So in this food chain, the primary consumer is grasshopper. A primary consumer is an organism that feeds directly on green plants. The next question says, a food chain usually begins with dash. A. Primary consumer. B. Producer. C. Secondary consumer. D. Tertiary consumer. In this question, the correct answer is B. Producer. So producer is an organism that usually begins food chain in different habitats. The next question says, the following are heterotrophs except dash. A. Goats. B. Sheep. C. Guinea grass. D. Lizard. In this question, the correct answer is C. Guinea grass. Heterotrophs are those organisms that depend either directly or indirectly on plants for food. And these organisms such as goat, sheep, lizard depend on plants either directly or indirectly for food. But guinea grass is a plant, is an organism that can manufacture its own food through a process known as photosynthesis. The next question says, a complex feeding relationship that involves two or more food chains is best described as dash. A. Trophic level. B. Food web. C. All of the above. D. None of the above. In this question, the correct answer is B. Food web. So food web is a complex feeding relationship that involves many organisms. So it involves two or more food chains. The next question says, in the food web above, the tertiary consumer is dash. A. Goats. B. Man. C. Toad. D. Snake. In this question, the correct answer is B. Man. So in the food web above, the tertiary consumer is regarded as man. The next question says, in aquatic habitats, autotrophs that usually begin a food chain are called dash. A. Zooplanktons. B. Phytoplanktons. C. All of the above. D. None of the above. In this question, the correct answer is B. Phytoplanktons. So these phytoplanktons are tiny plants that usually begin food chain in aquatic habitats. The next question says, a food web with 5 food chains contains more number of organisms than a food web with 3 food chains. A. True. B. False. C. All of the above. D. None of the above. In this question, the correct answer is A. True. So, a food web with 5 food chains contains more number of organisms than a food web with 3 food chains. The more the number of food chains in a food web, the more the number of organisms in such food web. The next question says, the food chain above takes place in dash A. Terrestrial habitats, B. Aquatic habitats, C. Arboreal habitats, D. None of the above. In this question, the correct answer is B. Aquatic habitat. So we can see in this video that the producer is the aquatic plants, and insects feed on them. Some insects feed on these aquatic plants. The frog feed on insects while the fish feed on frog. So these organisms are found in aquatic habitats. They are found in water. And that's why option B remains the correct answer. The next question says, in a food chain, the organisms that are capable of manufacturing their food through sunlight and chlorophyll are called dash A. Producers, B. Decomposers, C. Primary consumers, D. Secondary consumers. In this question, the correct answer is A. Producers. So producers are those organisms that can carry out photosynthesis. They are those organisms that can manufacture their own food through the use of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. We have said already that they usually begin food chain in different environments. The next question says, in a food chain, the organisms that possess the highest amount of energy are dash A. Producers, B. Primary consumers, C. Secondary consumers, D. Tertiary consumers. In this question, the correct answer is A. Producers. These producers are the green plants. They possess the highest amount of energy because their primary source of energy is the sunlight. So they get this solar energy which they use in production of food. The next question says, in a food web containing 5 food chains, the total number of primary consumers found in the food web is dash A. 2, B. 3, C. 5, D. 8. In this question, the correct answer is B. Is C. 5. So, in a food web containing 5 food chains, the total number of primary consumers found in the food web is 5. The next question says, in the food web above, the total number of primary consumers is dash A. 5, B. 3, C. 6, D. 8. In this question, the correct answer is B. 3. So we can see in this video that there are 3 primary consumers. These include the grass cutter, the goats, and the grasshopper. These 3 organisms feed directly on grass, and that's why we call them primary consumers. The next question says, the following are differences between food chain and food web except dash A. Food chain is a simple feeding relationship while food web is a complex feeding relationship. B. Food chain involves few organisms while food web involves many organisms. C. Organisms have lesser chances of survival in food chain but have more chances of survival in food web. D. Organisms have more chances of survival in food chain but less chances of survival in food web. In this question, the correct answer is D. Organisms have more chances of survival in food chain but less chances of survival in food web. Other options such as A, B, C are differences between food chain and food web. The next question says, a step in the movement of energy through an ecosystem is a description that best fits the term dash. A. Food web. B. Trophic level. C. Food chain. D. Pyramid of numbers. In this question, the correct answer is B. Trophic level. This trophic level is the feeding level. It is regarded as the feeding level in every food chain. For instance, if four organisms make up a food chain, each of these feeding relationship is known as the trophic level. If this is the first time you are watching our video, if this is the first time you are joining this channel, you can be part of this channel fully by liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel so that you can study other topics where we have treated them in other videos in this channel.